Where'd that handgun go? Oh, there it is. .38 special. Yes, Hickok 45, your internet shooting companion, coming to you from the still barren hills of Tennessee, the home. Who's it the home of? How about the home of Jeff Quinn, James Yeager, and Paul Harrell viewers, still to this day, right? Yeah, I think so. So we miss those folks. And glad you're here. There's that flashlight. Took on my trip. Wonder what I did with this in my pocket. Yeah, there's a story. So I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. It's real time now, kind of. It's the week of the 2nd, and got a nice day, and I survived the trip. I pretty much told you I would be out of pocket, and I was. You might have seen a couple of videos posted on the road. Thought I might post more things, didn't do it, but a couple from Monument Valley, I guess, mainly. And yeah, do I have something else from there? I don't know, maybe. But it is Sunday shoot around 266, February 2nd, and I'm glad to be back. I was out 3 weeks. Yeah, that's a long road trip, 3 weeks. That's like nothing, I guess, for a traveling musician or something, but I'm not a traveling shooter, really. I just travel sometimes a little bit. And 3 weeks, if you've ever been out for 3 weeks in your car, well, or flying, whatever you're doing, if you're out with your luggage for 3 weeks and everything you need for 3 weeks, it's a bit of a challenge, isn't it? It is a challenge to pack. Yeah. And it's a long time. 21 days was out, and it requires some thinking, right? Planning, checking in and out of motels virtually every night, and trying to get that pretty smooth and have what you need without taking extra things in necessarily. I keep 2 bags, one for the extra, all the shirts and underwear, everything, extra pairs of pants, so whatever, and I don't lug that in and out every night, but then feed out of that bag at some point along the way after about 5 days, what do I need? And so I'm not taking 100, how about 500 pounds of luggage in. So anyway, and John stayed here, was in town and stayed at the place, and did a couple of videos and guarded the compound while I was gone, and my wife and I went out west for 3 weeks, so that was fun. Speaking of the people I mentioned, Paul Harrell, James Yeager, and Jeff Quinn, I was thinking walking down the hallway at SHOT Show the first day, and how things have changed, because I recall one year in particular, seeing Jeff Quinn on the way down there the first day in the hall, speaking with him a little bit, and then going on down, and there was James Yeager standing with some guys on the right there, and kind of there in one of the law enforcement rooms in front of it, and things weren't open yet. And to stop, talk to him for a minute, and that was the time that I didn't realize who was standing there with him. I leaned up against the wall. It was Clint Smith, and until he said something, and then, oh, Clint Smith, oh my gosh, and but there you go. I was thinking back on that, and how I never did meet Paul Harrell, but anyway, how those people are gone. It's it's a shame, sad when you think about it. So anyway, big trip, and I brought out, guess what that is? You know what it is, don't you? A lot of you do. You recognize that. It's the Kimber, famous revolver maker from back in the 1850s, right? No, not really. But yeah, the K6sx, which I still like. I still am not sure whether or not I like it better than a J-frame Smith, 642. It has the advantage of an extra round. It's just ever so slightly larger, but not a lot, not much. So just a nice revolver. I never would have thought I'd be a big fan of a Kimber revolver. No one thought there would even be a Kimber revolver 10 years ago, right? But it's a nice one. It might feel a little better in the hand and have a little better sights, than your standard 642. Got to get my hands on one of those ultimate carry Smiths. I still haven't been able to get one of those, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to buy one. I find one of those things. 642, I guess. I tell you, there's a lot of acclaim for the, what was it, 632, 430? Oh, it's one of those in 32 caliber. I see a lot about that 32 caliber round in whether H&R Magnum or 32 long, whatever. How actually effective that is. And you get 6 rounds and a J-frame with that. So I don't know. I might think about one of those. But I like the little revolvers. It's by and large all an armed citizen really needs, if they can handle it, right? Yeah, pretty much the case. A lot of great choices out there, though, but hard to beat. Oh gosh, I got something else out here I'll show you that I didn't lead with, for the usual reason. I ain't fired it yet, and we'll get. But anyway, yeah, I'll give you a quick rundown. I won't make it a travel log, but went to Monument. Got snowed in Amarillo the first couple days out for a couple days. It was okay. Guess where we got snowed in at? Hampton Inn, right next to the big Texan Steakhouse and Ranch. There, you familiar with that one? That's the one that's famous for the 72-ounce steak. Where if you can eat the 72-ounce steak in 1 hour, you get it free. Well, don't look at me. I am not going to try that. That's gross as far as I'm concerned. Those big eating contests, like hot dog eating contests and 72-ounce steak, all that kind of stuff. Just it makes me sick to think about it. It's an unhealthy thing to do, really. Now, if you're NFL lineman, and you make me look really small, you're so big, I guess that makes sense. You might eat a 72. It might just be a little bit of a stretch for you to eat a 72-ounce steak. I don't know. But for the average person, that's gross. But anyway, yeah, I got snowed in there, and it was good. We ate there lunch 2 days in a row. Had a ribeye 2 days, and it was great. And on the way back, my wife, I forced her into 3 meals there. She liked it fine, but I was taking advantage of that. Went to the Grand Canyon, Carson City, went through the Mint, the Carson City Mint, which is the it's the Nevada State Museum, but it's the old Mint building. And they have the coin press #1 there, that they started out with, minting coins. I probably have a couple made on that press. You don't know, a few years later they added a couple more presses, but it's pretty neat. I did a little FAQ in front of it. It's probably not postable. It in that room there was nobody around, so I did a little FAQ video. But it was there's a lot of echo in that room, and the sound didn't come out too well. I'll look at it. Maybe John could mess with it and improve the sound. I don't remember what the FAQ was on, something random. But in front of that press is pretty neat. Pretty seeing that. I like the history of old coins, and I like Carson City and the Carson City Mint and everything. So I've wanted to go there for a while. I've read seen a lot of videos on it. I've read books on it, and wanted to get to it. One of the reasons I wanted to go to Carson City was go through the Mint. Saw the rooming house from the Shootist, the John Wayne movie, you know, where he stayed with Lauren Bacall. Remember that? You know, the Shootist, right there, around the corner. I went to Virginia City, pretty cool place, really historical. All the mining, silver mining and everything. Looked for Ben Cartwright, couldn't find him. Lake Tahoe, went up there, beautiful. Do I need to tell you it's a beautiful lake? And then of course Las Vegas for the SHOT Show for the 4 or 5 days there. Went to the Antique Arms show there in Las Vegas after that was over. Saw a bunch of you at the SHOT Show, a bunch of you on the trip going and coming all through the trip. It was great to see you all, and all you at the SHOT Show. Gosh, who did I see there? I don't know. I saw, let's see, Colin Noir interrupted an interview he was having, I think, and there were a lot of people there that you would know who do videos and that kind of things I just didn't run into. I saw Tim from Military Arms Channel, chat with him a bit. One of the guys from American Fighting Revolver, Brian, I think. Who else did I run into there? Oh, Jared from Guns and Gadgets, and Tom Gresham, Jerry M., fastest revolver guy on the planet. Julie Golub was there at the Smith & Wesson booth. Davidson's Gallery of Guns was giving away a truck, and a really good friend of mine works for them. Very good friend of mine I've known for a long time. And so I was at the Smith & Wesson booth when they gave away, when Davidson's gave away the truck, and later had lunch with the winner and my buddy and all that from Davidson's. That was a lot of fun. Just saw a lot of people that watch the videos, of course, and well, not of course anybody watches them, but just that's the reason. You know, they said something. Oh, I almost forgot. Did you see the picture I posted on Facebook and Instagram? Met Mrs. Glock. Yeah. I couldn't even told you there was a Mrs. Glock. Really? I don't keep up with family affairs of gun inventors, but she came out to me in the booth, the Glock booth, and I don't know, talking to somebody or several somebodies, and we're getting pictures, and all of a sudden here she came, strolling across, came up to me and to say hi, and I said hi. I didn't know who she was, where she was from, where did she come from, and it's just, I don't know, attractive woman in black with no badge or anything on, and I said hi, and I thought I was supposed to know her, or she was the YouTuber I should know, maybe, and so I just said, where are you from? I started to get, and she said, Austria. And I said, oh man, the land of Glocks, huh? And she said, I am Mrs. Glock. I am Mrs. Glock. And I said, okay. And it was Mrs. Glock. I could tell it wasn't a joke. She was Mrs. Glock. She's Gaston's widow. And I think I said that in the posting, but it was really a strange experience. It caught me totally off guard. She's very nice and interesting. Yeah, she was there at the SHOT Show. So that was one of the most interesting experiences I had, I'll have to say, at SHOT Show. Well, I don't have to be at SHOT Show, just seemed like end up going every other year. I may go again next year. It's I don't know, it's good, for someone who does what we do, I guess, to get in there amongst all the firearms and everything, and see people that are in the business, and people that making guns, people that talking to them even though we don't have any affiliations with gun companies, but it's neat to talk to them, and then other people who make videos, and a lot of you, they're there working. I say you, I realize you can't get into SHOT Show unless you're like media or you're working for a gun company or whatever it might be, but there's a lot of you who do, and you're there, so I saw a lot of you, talked to a lot of you. So anyway, interesting experience, and I'm glad I went. and we had a great trip. Saw a lot of the country. It's a beautiful country. I love the West. Driving out there is so different than it is here. I'll shoot this again before I get this other thing out. Some ammo. I mean, unless you have driven a little bit out west, I don't think you have a real good idea how big it is, how much desert there is. Really don't. In the 80s, I flew out there several times. I looked down and saw it. You know, I flew into Phoenix and California several times, Salt Lake City. I've been out there, and I don't know. You just don't have a grasp of it as much until you drive through it. It goes on forever. You know, driving up to Monument Valley, up through Nevada to Carson City and back, and all through Arizona, New Mexico, parts of Texas, Oklahoma. I mean, it's just a big place with a lot of desert, many hundreds of miles you can drive and really not see a lot of civilization. It's just so different than back here in my part of the country. And I enjoy it. Now, I don't know, after this one, there's a lot of driving. It drove about 6,000 miles. And I always say, I think it's like women get pregnant. They swear they'll never do it again because of the 9 months of whatever, discomfort and the pain of having a baby. I sort of am that way after driving out there and back. Okay, that was enough. But then, I don't know, I start thinking about it again, missing my desert. All right. Let's put this in the Alabama holster, okay? Yeah, man, love these Alabama holsters. Appreciate their support. Also, Silencer Central, saw a lot of those folks out there. Brandon, the owner, and others, and chatted with them. Bud's Gun Shop, saw those folks. And then, of course, SDI, the Sonoran Desert Institute, great support of the channel. They do exactly what they say. Look at the course offerings. I think you'll like it. Might have some options there for you. All right, let's just shoot Alabama holster. I'm going to pull it out of the Alabama holster in slow motion and put a bullet right there. Yeah, right there on Alabama. How about one on Talon grips? Oh, and on Ballistol. Saw those people. Yeah. Woo! And how about one in the bullseye? I think I have another one left. I'm going to put it back in the holster, and I'm going to fake out the cowboy. I'm going to act like I'm being nice to him. Hello, Mr. Cowboy. How you doing? How you doing, big guy? Guess what I got for you? I got a present for you. Yeah, hard to beat a revolver. Hard to beat. Some of you would not agree. Not tactical enough, right? Well, let me put some more bullets in it. Since I'm shooting it and getting it dirty, then I'll show you what else I have. Yeah. Some more jacketed rounds. 38 special. Okay. One of the cool things about these, I'll just put it, I'm not going to do that. I was going to say you could put them in your jacket pocket. I advise a holster. But it's in your jacket pocket like that. A lot of revolvers, semi-autos, you're not going to fire it out of your pocket, right? It's going to hang up. One of these, you can fire it 5 or 6 times without any trouble. Hopefully you would never have to do that. But I don't think I would. Just to save my life would be the only reason you'd ever fire it, right? But I'd rather lose my life than shoot a hole in my jacket, wouldn't you? How's that for brilliant? Maybe I'll bring out an old jacket one day and demonstrate. That sounds like something Paul Harrell would do. I bet he's done that. Shot through a pocket. I bet he has. All right. Now let's just shoot. Yeah, I like that little thing. I like 642s. I like any revolver, and these are so practical. Hard to beat. All right, confession time. You know, one of the reasons, if I have a firearm you haven't seen, you know the drill, and I kind of hide it for a little bit on a Sunday. It's usually, if not always, because I ain't fired it yet, right? I ain't fired it. Well, I bought a gun in Las Vegas. Yeah, most people go to Las Vegas, gamble, eat well. Well, I did that. I ate well, had fun. I didn't gamble. I'm just not drawn to it. You know, I was gonna do that. I was gonna put a few bucks on a roulette or something before I left. I just never did it. But what do I do in Las Vegas? I come back with a firearm, a new firearm. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Well, you know, the Antique Arms Show takes place almost every year in conjunction. It's not in conjunction, but it's at the same week. The SHOT Show starts on the Thursday or Friday of that week. And I go to that. I look forward to that as much as SHOT Show. And anyway, I came back with something. Yeah, imagine that. You know, a couple of years ago, I came back with, it was the year of the 150th anniversary. It was 2023. I came back with a Colt single action. Remember that? Second generation, 4 3/4 inch. Remember that one? Yeah. I bring it out occasionally. It's about due to come out again, isn't it? So I kind of, yeah, I started the year with that one. Yeah, that's right. It was SHOT Show 2023. Remember, I started the year with a Colt single action, and I wrapped up the year with one. What was that one? Well, no, it's another story. Okay. Anyway, now they don't just have like old firearms and that kind of thing at the Antique Arms Show. It could be World War II or things like that. You're not going to find a lot of Glocks or SIGs. There's no hope for me. There is no hope for me. Like I didn't have something almost like this already. Here it is. Yep, it's a Shiloh Sharps. And I bet it's a different caliber. That's why you bought it. A different chambering, right, Hickok? Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, you got something a little bit like that, but this one's probably in some other chambering. Well, it's in 4570. My favorite chambering, 4570. I just couldn't resist. These things are 4 or 5 year waiting period and everything, and I just it's a new one. I don't know how it ended up with this vendor. Sometimes I think people order 2 and then just to sell one, make a couple $100 or whatever they do with it. I don't know. Or I don't know. Or it finally comes and they have to pay for it and then they just sell it. I don't know. Maybe they've gotten into financial issues or who knows. But anyway, that's a 4570. You notice the difference now. This one has the half octagon, half barrel. They call it just a half barrel, I think they call it, but it's half octagonal and it's round. And I think the inside's round all the way, right? Well, I picked it up. So, the Shiloh Sharps, cool, yeah. Oh, that's lighter than mine. I thought, yeah, it's got a little bit longer barrel, but it's lighter. Feels a little handier than my Montana Rough Rider. And I thought, that's a lot like mine, but it's a little handier. And I wish I had a 28-inch barrel instead of a 32. I think it said 32. It doesn't seem that long. But I don't know. I just couldn't leave it. I couldn't leave it there. So that's what I've got. And it's not been fired. I ran some ballistol and a snake down through the barrel when I got back yesterday, but I haven't fired it. It may not work. Don't know. And who knows where the sights are. I did bring a screwdriver, not necessarily to do a lot of sight adjustment. I meant to check screws. Never know how long one of these has been around. Not too long, because with the serial number, yeah, it's in the 9,000 range, was it? Yeah, 9,000 range. My other one was like 7 or something. 8, 7, I don't know if you look at it. They don't make 1 million of these things, you know, every year. They don't make that many. And so, yeah, that's not too old. but especially where it had been fired, yeah, it's fine. So I'm not going to do a lot of sight adjustment on it today, but I'll take a couple shots and make sure it fires, okay? Then I'll get a sledge out and beat on the sights or whatever I need to do. All right, there's no hope for me. And you all know that. There's no hope. So, let's see, this is some Steinel. And, oh yeah, I met Andy Steinel and his compadres that make some of the ammo. They send us some of this, and of course Underwood. They send us ammo. Caleb Barrett at Underwood, those are great people. I tell you what, great ammo. And the folks at Fiocchi send us some. Yeah, we get unless it's some unusual ammo, you know, most of our ammo is taken care of. It's great. So appreciate those people. Let's take a shot here. See if it'll work. Okay. You reckon I need my ears on? I should get brave and shoot at the gong, except I won't know where it goes if I miss. I'll try to do it just for fun, okay? Let's just throw one at the gong. See if I'm anywhere close. How's that? First shot. Contacted metal. Just for that, let's put one on Clyde. All right. Ah, yeah. You get that smoke. See, maybe well, I won't do that. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing like a good old Sharps 1874 design. Got that nice pewter. Yeah, I like that. And beautiful wood. Beautiful wood. These are not antiques. They're not, you know, from the 1800s or anything. But they are definitely replicas of it, and they just very nicely made, and all kinds of configurations. But just the design itself, the falling block, way to lock up, they'll handle any round, any chambering, and the simplicity of it is a lot of the attraction to me. Really is. I'm gonna fire a jacket around some old Remington I got somewhere. I should fire one of those. Yeah, beautiful stock. And I do have my rubber extender on it, but I'll take that off. Ain't that pretty? Do we have bad lighting? Can you see that? Pretty walnut grain, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I definitely need the extender. It's just a little short for me. Little short. All right. Let's put a torpedo back in here. And let's throw one at the, well, I'll throw one of these at the gong. Well, that front side is thin. That's good. Just about lose it in the sunlight. This might be, I'll have to weigh my Montana Rough Rider and weigh this one both, see what the difference is. And this one feels like it might be a little lighter for just packing around, hunting buffalo on the place here. Yeah, I don't know. Now, if they turn out to be the same weight and it's just an illusion, I don't know what I'll do. I'll feel really stupid, and which I probably am, and maybe sell one or trade one of them off, decide which one I prefer. I don't know. Probably not. It would not be easy for me to get rid of a 4570. It's just a tough one. That's a tough one to do. But you know, I was saying a second ago, this is, you know, the simplicity, as I was saying, in a lot of ways, it's like this thing, isn't it? Not a lot of things that can go wrong generally. They could, but they generally don't. The simplicity of a revolver, if you maintain it at all. And then this thing, I better knock on wood. because sure as the world Murphy is watching, something would go wrong. But just simple design, get the job done, one shot, and makes me want to shoot it again. Let's just shoot it again. Okay. I really, who's the other company that's making really nice, C Sharps. I would have been more delighted, I think, if I had run across one of those, just for the variety of it. And I hear a lot of good things about them, but I just never see those. I rarely see these. All right, let's close up the torpedo and pop. What do we want to pop? I'm going to pop that target down in the holler. Hits it pretty hard. That's because it's 45-70. Wonder how many 45-70 rounds I have fired. Yeah, in my lifetime. Probably as many as some of the buffalo hunters, right? That use these, or use that chambering. Yeah, man. You know, speaking of that, my advice to young people is add some quality to your firearms interest. If you're interested in firearms, and you might be, if you're watching this, you just might be. And again, as I often advise, get away from just the black rifles and polymer guns. Enjoy those, but and your interest in them or whatever, but give history a look. Okay, things like this. Now, this is kind of pricey. You know, if you're a young person, you know, I've been working my whole life. But I'll say, how long have I been working? Well, I've been working as a teenager, painting houses and all that kind of thing. But just since college, I've been working over 50 years. Yeah, over 50 years I've been working. So, you know, I'm in a little bit different place. I mean, I make more than I deserve to make now, of course, but I'm in a little different place in my life and can spring for things like this. You may not be able to do that, but especially if you're a younger person. But you know, stuff like this, or just old guns and military surplus rifles, so some of those sorts of historical firearms and replicas are available, and some are not all that expensive. But you know, don't ignore that stuff, because it just has so much history and very interesting to learn about and interesting to shoot. It might take you a while to get to the point where you are looking for something different. You're still enamored with. I know I'm grouping everybody together. I didn't mean to do that, but I was kind of there. I mean, it's just, you know, something that holds a lot of rounds is just fun to shoot. You kind of get that out of your system to some extent. It's always fun, but you come to a point, I think, a lot of us, where that is fun, that's great, but there's just some more interesting firearms out there. It's like the revolver, or a cap and ball revolver, single shot rifle, or lever guns, you know, those sorts of things. They're just really interesting and fun to use. They're more manual. It's kind of like an automatic transmission versus a manual transmission, where you're working the action yourself, and the simplicity of it, the history of it, and knowing what they were used for in the West or wherever, or in battle, whatever it might be. Just wonderful old guns, really. Whether it's a replica, and this is a replica. Now, these are not cheap, but it is a replica of the 1874 Sharps. But anyway, that'd be my advice. Broaden your horizons, okay? And I'm thankful that a lot of people do. Lever guns are, my gosh, they're as popular as ever, I guess, and revolvers. And it's not just a historical interest in revolvers. There's so many revolvers that just make a lot of sense. They really do. And they're not just for people who don't know guns. They are a viable option. They're a really viable option, whether you know that or not. And if you study the statistics, the FBI statistics, regarding private citizens, especially. Now, if you're a soldier or you're a cop going where the trouble is, that's your job, it's a little different. But if you are a citizen and you just want to get home alive, you just want to keep yourself or your family safe, you know, something like this ain't bad at all. Let's go out here and shoot it. Pretty nice, pretty nice. That'll do. That will do. Yep. Nothing wrong with 38 Special either. Doesn't have to be Magnum. Does not have to be at all. I'm going to clean that lid out just to make sure, because I'm carrying this one recently. It also depends on where you are, what state you're in. You know, sometimes the Master Blaster it's more difficult to carry something like that legally, or carry at all. Just depends on where you live. All right. Oh, let's pop old Clyde again. I can't hear whether I'm hitting him or not. I think I did. I don't know. Sweet. Nice gun, nice gun. All right. I'll shoot the big boy another time. I'll get y'all out of here. So anyway, I'm glad to be back. You know, it's always nice to get home. You never know when you're not going to get home, right? Yeah, that's right. There's a time in every one of our lives where we're not going to get home, or we're not going to get away from the house, or something. That's going to be the end of us, right? No, seriously. Well, that's pretty serious. But I was thinking driving. Okay, we're sitting out here on a 5,000 or 6,000 mile trip. You know, how many hours am I out there amongst the 18 wheelers? All around you, you know how it is on the interstates now, and just everything. And out west, a lot of the roads are 2 lanes, where we were all the way up into Idaho, or not Idaho, but Utah, and a lot of Nevada, and everywhere. Cars coming at you at 80 miles an hour, you know, inches away, and you're just a lot of opportunities to get checked out. Let's face it, the most dangerous thing we do, as I always say, is get in a car. And I always think driving away on trips, like, okay, hope to see this place again. You know, don't know what's going to happen. But and on the trip, you know, it occurred to me several times, we're a long way from home. We're out in the middle of nowhere in the desert, lots of miles after mile after mile. That trip between Las Vegas and up to Carson City is a good example of that. And I think, well, car's doing fine, you know. I don't want to brag on it. But I'm still just amazed at the technology of cars these days, because I do that all the time. Take off out there somewhere and come back. You know, the car does fine, and they're so complex these days. Electronics, and no issues and no breakdowns. Knock on wood. Because out there in the middle of nowhere, what a nightmare. All the luggage and everything. My wife and me both, and so it crossed my mind several times. And as we're getting closer to coming back, and about halfway back, I was okay. I don't want to say it out loud, but the old car's a GMC Yukon Denali. It's doing great. I'm proud of it. You know, it's like your horse. You rely on it, and so I can just imagine how close a cowboy or somebody would get to their horse. You know, that's reliable and gets them where they need to go and everything. Because your car is kind of your horse out there in the middle of nowhere. And And I was also in my mind thinking, oh, man, just hope we don't have a flat, it's such a pain to change it. Of course, I got AAA, I can call them, but so anyway, cruising back, where were we? We were actually in Arkansas, and which is like almost home, not home, still about what? No, 300 miles from home, but had a flat tire. Yeah, had a flat tire. Didn't quite make it back. The air readout, tire pressure popped up. Left rear tire showing needs air. And it was down to like 26 pounds. Should be around 35 or more. 26, and I was watching it. I'm cruising along about 75, down to 25 and 24. We must have a nail or something. We're going to be changing a tire. We got to be thinking about getting off, or what we're going to do here. And I was hoping it could get to Tennessee or somewhere, and came up on one of the big Love's markets and got off, put air in it, but it wasn't holding or anything. So we were there for a while. And I got a lot of it done. I called I use AAA. I pay them, a premium amount every year. So I called them, and I had everything down. And then they finished it up. But then anyhow, I had a big nail or something gouged in it, tire, and put the spare on. And but then you're driving through the middle of Arkansas and still 300 miles from home and no spare. And that's not good, because then if I have a flat, I don't have a spare, and like AAA doesn't patch tires. I couldn't get them to patch it or try to plug it, everything. I said, well, this ain't good. So then we found I said, well, let's try to get to Memphis, and looked up a discount tire store, the official name of that company. I use them to buy tires. They're a good store. And talked to the guy. His name was Chris. And turns out he's a viewer of the videos. I didn't know that till I got there. But anyway, he was a great guy. And I called and said, hey, we're coming through. We got a problem, Do y'all have time to get to a tire and plug it and fix it, And he said, yeah, come on by. Great. So we got there and found that on the east side of Memphis. And great shop, and he was wonderful. And they got that thing fixed. Well, it turned out it was too big a hole to plug. Bought a tire, and they put the spare back up in there underneath. Oh, they got it all back in shape for us, and so we were good to go. So it was great. Appreciate Chris. A discount tire in Memphis. That was in Germantown, on the east side. I think it was in Germantown. 64. Yeah. Anyway, appreciate the help, man. That was great. So it didn't quite make it back totally unscathed, but it could have been worse. Could have been like at 5 in the morning when we're driving out there somewhere in the dark, on the side of the road where there's no way to get totally off the road, the narrow shoulder. And there's some nightmares. You see people changing tires where it's really, really risky, right? So I was able to get to a truck stop and have plenty of place to park there and mess with it. So this is like the old days. I've gone too long, haven't I? Let me shoot another one of these and I'll make you leave. So just good to be back. Lots to tell you about. All right. Good old Sharps. I am so bad. I mean, am I so bad? There's no hope for me. No hope. I was talking with a guy. I was at a gun shop this morning. I really am bad. We were talking about the addiction that we have, and how a 12-step program really would do no good. Because if you're an alcoholic or you got a drug addiction, you're in that 12-step program and going to meetings, right? So that you can stay off of whatever your problem is. You're trying to get that out of your life, right? That's why you have the 12-step program. Well, I always joke about needing a 12-step program for myself, except I don't know they would do any good because I'm not really trying to get off of my addiction. Yeah, you know, it's, in my eyes, kind of a harmless addiction, okay? Even though it is pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But I do fully acknowledge it, and that's half the battle, isn't it? You know, acknowledging your addictions, okay? So I freely admit it. What do you think, cowboy? Yeah, got hit hard that time. Yep, nothing like an empty 45-70. So I'll let you go and quit yakking at you. Out here boring all the tactical guys and gals with my old school revolver and my old school single shot. Of course, the single shot makes this look like new school, doesn't it? All right, maybe I'll bring out something more tactical next week, okay? I hope to be home for a while, at least until the NRA meeting, okay? And that's not nearly as big a trip. So I appreciate you watching, and I hope you saw that picture I posted of Mrs. Glock. It's on Facebook and Instagram. I should have done a video with her. That was a shocker. I don't know why. I just, again, I don't keep up with the family affairs of other people, famous people or non-famous people, and that was what was so awkward about it. When she said, I am Mrs. When I said something about Glock, I am Mrs. Glock, you know. Well, all these things went through my head, and so I was more awkward than I normally would have been, because okay, Mrs. Glock, is this the widow of Gaston Glock, or is this like a daughter of his, or another relative who's Mrs. Glock that's helping with, you know, the promotion or something of Glock? So I didn't know what to say other than just, you know, be nice to her. And then there was a fellow with her, a Glock rep or somebody there, and we talked to him a little bit and went on. But anyway, it was great to meet Mr. Glock. I never did meet Gaston, so that's as close as I'll ever get. So at least I met somebody whose name is Glock, you know. So like I said in the posting, I guess I am a Glock fanboy now. So I will let you go, and maybe I'll hang around out here for a couple more hours and fire my guns. Yeah, a couple of my favorite firearms. So don't hate me because I have another 45-70. Just pity me, feel sorry for me that I am in such bad shape. I am so far down the drain in my addiction that I actually buy almost a duplicate of what I have. But there's a difference. Look at the barrel. I promise. See, it's a different barrel. Okay. And I don't know, I gotta get them out and compare them. Yeah, that'd be a good comparison. Well, the stock is a little different, a little heavier on the Montana Rough Rider, I believe. Yeah, I need to get it out and compare them, okay? So I'll let you go, and I appreciate you watching and putting up with me. I probably talked for a freaking hour. Life is good.